Today I will discuss how the different other conditions of the loading and how to calculate the bearing capacity of foundation under such loading condition. Because in other classes, in the last classes I have discussed that about the Mehra bearing capacity calculation and other bearing capacity calculation. And then there the shape factor, depth factor, inclination factor, all those are introduced in the loading condition to get the bearing capacity of the ultimate bearing capacity of the foundation. Now, today's class I will discuss about the if the loading is not applied at the center of the foundation, if the eccentrically loaded footing is there, and then how to calculate the bearing capacity, and then when we will calculate the shape factor and the depth factor, or basically the shape factor and the ultimate load carrying capacity of the footing, then how to use those loading condition, that eccentric condition in the foundation, those things I will discuss in this lecture. Now, first I will go for the one way eccentric loading, and then we will go for the two way eccentric loading. Now, first case, suppose if I go for this now, this is for the eccentrically loaded foundation. In all other cases, that suppose this is the footing and this is the center of the footing. Now, suppose if loading is applied at the center, or if I take the cross section of this foundation or footing, that this is the cross section and the loading is applied at the center of the building. In this center of the footing, in this case the previous formula we can apply, but if there is any moment or if the loading is eccentrically, then how to calculate this bearing capacity of the foundation, that thing we can discuss in this section. Suppose if the loading is, there is a moment which is applied here, and this q is the loading which is applied at the center, and m is the additional moment which is applied, and suppose this is the b width of the foundation, and dimension of the footing, say this is b cross L. So, this is the dimension of the footing, or we can say this is b cross L. So, this direction is b, and this direction the dimension of the footing is L. Now, first under this loading condition, if the loading, if the loading is applied at the center or there is no moment, then the uniform distribution of loading is observed. Now, if the moment is applied, so the footing is distribution of the load below the footing, it will follow this pattern. So, this is the reaction of the soil which is giving to the foundation, and so now as this moment is applied in this direction. So, this will give you the maximum reaction, that is q max, and this will give you the minimum reaction, that is q min. So, now this is one condition where this is following in this pattern. Now, there is another situation where q max is this value and q min is the negative value, or suppose this is the reaction, this is q max, And so you can see that if we draw this portion, that means here this side the reaction is this is negative, that means the tension will develop. So, we will not as we know that soil cannot take the tension, cannot able to take the tension. So, that means there is a provision to give the separation between the foundation and the soil if the reaction is negative or if the tension force is developed. So, we will neglect the second case. Suppose this is our case 1 and this is a case 2. So, we will neglect the second case. So, that means there is a case 1 which is developed if our E value is less than B by 6, and this is developed if E value is greater than B by 6. So, that means our one condition that E should not be greater than B by 6 if it is one way eccentrically loaded foundation. So, now we can calculate, we have to calculate this E max and E min value. So, one condition, so no tension will be developed, and so under no tension condition this is one condition. So, this is for the no tension condition. So, this is our one condition. The next thing is you have to calculate. So, that means this E should not be greater than B by 6. So, that means always E will be less than equal to B by 6. So, if E is greater than B by 6, then this tension will develop. That is not acceptable for this foundation design, or we will avoid this kind of foundation. So, now we can calculate the E max and E min. So, suppose E max will get by using this expression that Q divided by B L plus 6 m B square L, where Q is the load which is acting in the foundation and m is the moment which we are applying. And similarly, that Q min will get this value is Q B L minus 6 m B square L. So, Q is equal to total vertical load and m is moment on foundation. Now, the eccentric values is we are talking about that E is the eccentricity. So, that eccentricity we can calculate E is equal to m divided by Q. So, first step we will calculate this. If we know the m and q value, we calculate the E value, that is m by q, and then we will check whether this A is within this limit or not. If it is within this limit, that means less than equal to B by 6, then we can proceed. Otherwise, we have to redesign our dimension of the foundation. We have to change the dimension, or we have to redesign this foundation. So, that means that is the first step. Then the next step, if we put this E value in our equation 1 and equation 2, then we will get E max is equal to Q B L plus 6 into E q divided by B square L, or if we take Q by B L common, then this will be 1 plus 6 E divided by B. Similarly, Q min we can calculate by this equation, Q divided B by L 1 minus 6 E divided by B. So, that means by putting this E value in equation 1 and 2, we will get the Q max and Q min in terms of Q, B, L and E. So, this next first we will check this condition, then we will calculate E max and E min. Another thing is that suppose the footing is in this fashions, that this is our footing, and loading itself is not applied at the center, it is applied at a distance of say E from the center. So, this is the loading Q we are applying, which is applied at a distance of E from the center, and this is also one condition. So, we can draw this type of figure. So, this is this type of figure we can draw. So, that means this hatch area because as the loading is applied at a distance of E from the center. So, the effective area, if loading is applied at the center, then the effective area will be equal to L into B. So, that is the total effective area L into B. Now, because of this eccentricity, or if there is moment is applied, or both the cases, because of this type of loading condition, the load is itself is applied at a distance E from the center, or there is the moment. So, because of this moment and loading eccentricity, the effective area of the footing, that means that now it is considered that this hatch zone is effectively taking the load, and this white portion is not taking load. So, when we calculate the ultimate load carrying capacity and use this expression. So, instead of using B, we have to use this value B dash, and here this value L dash, as it is one way eccentricity. So, L dash will be equal to L, but B dash is reduced by some amount. So, here this white portion it is written as 2 into E. So, this white portion is written, this is 2 into E. So, white portion is 2 into E and this hatch portion is B dash. Now, here suppose this is the point where loading is applied, where E is this value. So, now here our effective area is basically reduced because of this loading condition. So, now when we calculate this effective area, so instead of B dash we can calculate that will be B minus 2 E, because this 2 E is the white portion. So, B dash will be B minus 2 E, and L dash is as usual, as it is one way eccentric loading. So, L dash will be equal to L. So, when we calculate the effective area, instead of using A, we will use the A dash, that is B dash into L dash, because if the effective area without any eccentricity is A into B into L, A is equal to B into L, then similarly A dash will be B dash into L dash. So, for this first condition is for centrally loaded footing, and this second condition is for eccentrically loaded footing. So, in this fashion, so first step, if I say again, so first step we by use, if we know the M, moment and the load which is acting, so we will calculate E value, or if I know the directly this eccentricity of this loading, then we will calculate this E value. From here we will check whether this E is less than equal to B by 6 or not. If it is less than equal to B by 6, then okay. Otherwise, the tension will develop, and ideally we will not allow the tension to develop. So, we will redesign the foundation. Then by using these two expressions, we will calculate the E max and E min, and then next job we will determine the effective width of the foundation, that is B dash equal to B minus 2e and L dash is equal to L, and then effective area, that is A dash will be B dash into L dash. Now, when we calculate this bearing capacity of this loading, then instead of using this B, we will use the B dash, and as this is one way eccentrically loaded foundation, then we will use L and L dash, these are both are the same. And when you when you calculate the these say factors, there also we will use B dash, not B. Now, the next one is that foundation with so, first case was the foundation with one way eccentricity. Now, the next case foundation with two way eccentricity. So, suppose this is the cross section of the footing, this is ground line and this is B, and dimension of the footing B cross L. Now, this is the dimension, so this one is B and this is L. L is the length of the footing and B is the width of the footing. Now, if Q is applied here, so this is say Q ultimate and one moment is applied here like the one way. So, this is one way eccentricity. Now, if the suppose this is x and this is y section. Now, if the same footing this is y and again Q ultimate is this one, this is the load Q ultimate, and one moment that is M y and another moment that is M x, both are acting in this foundation. Here only one moment is acting, that is one way eccentricity. Now, if the M x and M y moment with respect to x axis and moment with respect to y axis both are acting in this footing. So, then this is two way eccentricity. Now, under this condition so suppose this is the E where this one is equal to E L because this is in terms of length and this is width and this distance is equal to E B. So, this one E L and this one is E B, or you can write this is E x E y and this is E x. So, here in this lecture we will use EL and EB. Now, where this is the length and this is the B is the width. So, that means here again how to calculate this, because here also in the previous cases when it was a one way eccentricity, then our A dash was B dash and L dash, where B dash is equal to B minus 2 E and L dash was equal to L, that is for one way. Now, again for the two way eccentricity also effective area L dash will be L B dash into L dash, but here again, so this is B dash. So, here B dash will be B minus 2 E and L dash will be A minus 2 E. So, here we will use in case of when you are talking about 2 E. So, we will use this is 2 E B and this is 2 E E L. So, this is for 2 way eccentricity. Again, how to calculate this E L and E B? So, E L we can calculate by E max M x divided by Q ultimate, and E B will be M y divided by Q ultimate. So, in two way eccentricity, so when we calculate E L, we use M with respect to x x axis, that is M x divided by Q ultimate, and E B, that is M y divided by Q ultimate. Now, when we calculate the Q u value, so then we will use the expression C N C S C D C I C plus Q, which is equal to D F into gamma N Q S Q D Q I Q plus half into gamma B dash N gamma S gamma D gamma I gamma. So, here C is the cohesion of the soil. So, here we know this is the expression, suppose this is the general expression. So, here N C, N Q and N gamma, these are the bearing capacity factors, and S C, S Q, S gamma are the shape factor, D C, D Q, D gamma as the depth factor, and I C, this is I Q and I gamma are the inclination factors. So, when you calculate this factor, instead of using B or L, we will use B dash and L dash, and here also we are using B dash, not B. So, finally, when you calculate the, suppose we know this Q ultimate load, that means Q u into A dash. So, that will give us Q u into B dash into L dash. So, when you calculate this value, we will use B dash into L dash. So, this is a two way eccentricity and then one way eccentricity. Now, I will discuss about the various cases. Suppose the first case that I will discuss, that is case 1. In this case, the condition is that our E L divided by L, that is greater than equal to 1 by 6, that is one condition, and E B by B, that is also greater than equal to 1 by 6. Now, suppose if this condition arises that E L by B, that is greater than equal to 1 by 6, and E B by B, that is greater than equal to 1 by 6. In such case, what will happen? Suppose if in such case, if I do not able to avoid these things, then if this case is still arising, then how we will get the, I will design this condition. So, in that case, suppose this is the foundation and this is B, and this is L. In that case, we will get this type of effective area. So, this hatch zone will give us the effective area. So, that means here we will get this is B 1, this is B and this is L 1. Now, here this is the eccentric point E, this is the point where this one is E L and this is E B. So, now when we calculate the from this area, because when we calculate the ultimate load, then we will determine this effective area. Now, with this effective area A dash will determine by using this expression, that is half B 1 into L 1, this is half B 1 into L 1, and then I will calculate this B 1 is given by B into 1.5 minus 3 E B divided by B. Now, this thing is been explained is in B. M. Das book, that is Das B. M. 1999. So, where this value will get that we can directly use this value, and then L 1 will get a similar expression L 1.5 minus 3 E L divided by L. So, by using this expression we will get B 1 and by using this expression we will get L 1. Now, the effective length L dash will be the larger value of these two. Which one is larger? That is the effective area. So, effective length L dash is equal to larger value of B 1 and L 1. So, once we get the L dash, then the B dash will be, because we will get A dash directly by this expression. So, this means B dash will be A dash divided by L dash. So, in this the larger value of B 1 and L 1 will give the L dash value, and B dash will be A dash divided by L dash. So, we will get the B dash and L dash. So, once we get the B dash and L dash, then we can use this B dash and L dash to get the other factors, bearing capacity factors or the safe factors, and then to calculate the ultimate load carrying capacity of the foundation, and then we will get the A dash, this is half into B 1 into L 1, then we will get the total ultimate load that the foundation can take. So, this is one case if this condition is this E L divided by L is greater than equal to 1 by 6 or E B divided by B is greater than equal to 1 by 6. Now, the next case or case 2, that I will explain this case 2 thing, that this case 2. Now, in the case 2, that E L by L, that is less than 0.5, and another condition that E B by B, that is greater than 0 and less than 1 by 6. So, E L is less than 0.5 and E B by B greater than 0, 1 and less than 1 by 6. In such case, the effective area will be as follows. Now, this is the footing. Now, this hatch zone will give us the effective area. Suppose this is the B, is the width of the foundation, L is the length of the foundation, and here this one is the L1, and this distance is equal to L2, and this is the A E value, say this is E L and this is E B. Where condition is E B is greater than equal to 0 and less than 1.1 by 6 B, and E L is less than 0.5 L. Now, this is the effective area under this second case. Now, here the effective area we can calculate by this half into L1 by L plus L2 into B. So, this is the effective area. Now, the effective length L dash is larger value of L1 and L2. So, about this L1 and L2, the larger value will give us the L dash, then similarly B dash will get from A dash divided by L dash. So, once we get this L dash, which is the larger value of L1 and L2, whichever is larger, and then we will get the B dash by L dash by A dash by L dash. Now, in the case 3, where the condition is that E L L, which is less than equal to 1 by 6, and E B by B, which is less than 0.5 and greater than 0. So, E L by L less than 1 by 6 and E B by B greater than 0, less than 0.5. So, in such case, in the case, this is for case 2, and if I want to draw the condition for the case 3, suppose this is length, this is B. So, in such case, effective area will be this one. So, this hatch portion will give us the effective area. So, this one is equal to now B 1 and this value will give us B 2, this is L and this one B. So, this will be the point. So, this is E B and this one E L. So, this point this is Q ultimate. Similarly, this one also this is Q ultimate. So, now in this condition, so area effective area of this hatch zone will get, that is half into B 1 plus B 2 into L, and L dash that will be equal to L, and B dash is equal to A dash divided by L dash. So, here we will get this A dash and L dash is equal to L, and B dash is A dash by L dash. So, this is for case 3. So, next case, that is the case 4. So, next case 4, where condition is that E L by L, which is less than 1 by 6, and E B by B, which is also less than 1 by 6. So, E L by L less than 1 by 6 and E B by B less than 1 by 6. So, in such case the loaded foundation, the effective area will be suppose this is L, this is B. So, effective area will be like this. So, this one, this hatch zone give us the effective area. So, this one is again B, this value is equal to L 2 and this value is equal to B 2, and this is the E, that means this is E L and this is E B. So, in this case, so this is B 2, this is B, this is L 2 and total is L. So, in this case effective area A dash, the effective area A dash will get that A dash is equal to L 2 into B, this L 2 if I divide into different portion. So, this one will be L 2 into B, this area, and the lower part will be plus half into B plus B 2, then this additional portion, that is L minus L 2. So, this will give us the effective area, and again the L dash is equal to L and B dash is equal to A dash by L dash. So, these are the 4 cases. So, by this using these 4 cases, first we will calculate this L dash, B dash, and then by using this expression we can calculate this effective area. Now, the question is that here in the except the first case, case 2, case 3 and case 4, all the cases this L 1, B 1, then B 2, L 2, these terms are involved, because here L dash is equal to L, because L is known to us. So, we can determine the L dash, but unless we do not know the A dash, it is very difficult to find the B dash. So, once we get the L dash, we should know the A dash, so that we can determine the B dash. Now, why suppose in this expression we do not know how to what is the value of A dash, because here B we know and L we know, but we do not know L 2 and B 2. Now, to use this to determine this L 1, L 2 and B 2, L 2, now the different charts are available. So, now I will show you the charts for this case, because in the first case this values L 1 and this L 2, these values are directly we can determine by using the given expression. But in the case 2, because here we should know the value of L 1 and L 2. So, in that case, if I use this chart, then we can determine these values. This is taken from this Heiter and Anders 1985 they have proposed. Originally the source it is taken from this again B. M. Das book, this chart. So, we can use this chart that. So, here this axis represent E L by L and this axis represent L 1 L or L 2 L. So, from this point towards this direction, the value that we will get of these curves that we will give for L 1 L, and towards this direction the value that we will get, that is for L 2 by L. Now, here this value, this is E B dash into B. So, once we get this value, so this is for 0.167, 0.1. So, we will this side we will get L 1 by L and this side we will get L 2 by L, because this E L by L we can calculate. Suppose E L by L and E B by B, E B by B, that we also calculate. So, once we get this value, we can calculate L 1 by L and L 2 by L, and as we know this L, so we can calculate L 1 and L 2. So, here we will determine this thing, these things I have already explained. Next is the case 3, here also similar charts are available. This is for E B by B and this is for E L by L. Similarly, for the first case, this is E L by L, this is E B by B, this is E B by B, this is also E B by B. So, here also we will get, in this side we will get B 1 and B 2. Here from this side onwards, this graph, this will give us the value of B 1 by B, and here this side point from this point towards this side it will give us B 2 by B. So, here we know the E B by B value corresponding E L by L value. So, suppose this is 0.8 and corresponding this value we will get this B 1 by B and B 2 by B. So, as we know B value, so you can calculate B 1 and B 2. Similarly, for the case 4, so here we should know the B 2 and L 2. So, this axis represent E B by B and this axis represents the B 2 B or L 2 L. So, here this is E L by L. So, corresponding, so obtaining this, so this chart E L by L. So, this chart will use to get this L 2 by L value and this E L by L, because here are two charts, here also point this chart represents the point 0.02, that is the value of E L by L, and this chart represent again the point 0.02, that is also E L by L. But so, these charts representing the by using this chart we can determine the value L 2 by L, and using this chart, this one we can use to determine B 2 by B. So, once we get B 2 by B and L 2 by L, then we know, as we know L and B value. So, we can determine this B 2 and L 2. So, once we get this B 2 and L 2, then we can determine the effective area, and L is equal to L dash for the case 4. Then once we get the L dash, then by using the expression A dash divided by L dash, we can determine the B dash. So, in this L dash and B dash we will use when we calculate the ultimate load carrying capacity of the footing instead of using B dash B or L. Now, we will solve one problem. So, that will help us to understand these things very clear. So, suppose this example problem, suppose this is the example 8.1. So, this problem will solve for one way eccentricity. Similar case, by using these charts, the presented charts and the expression that mentioned, we can determine the ultimate load carrying capacity of the footing for two-way eccentricity also. Now, in this condition, suppose this is the foundation So, this is ground line and one we are applying load and one moment. So, now this dimension of the footing is 2 cross 2 meter and the depth of the footing is 0.5 meter from the ground line. Now, the density, that is 19 kilonewton per meter cube, phi value is 32 degree and C value is 0. So, one way eccentricity, this E value directly it is given, say 0.18 meter. So, we have to determine what will be the ultimate load Q of this foundation, that is the problem. So, this is the footing condition, it is placed at a depth of 0.5 meter. So, dF is 0.5 meter and this dimension is 2 cross 2 meter. Density unit weight of the soil 19 kilonewton per meter cube, phi value is 32 degree, C is 0. Now, has this is E value. So, now in this question the C is 0. So, our Q ultimate, that C N C part, the first part, as C is 0. So, that part is also 0. Now, we can write this Q N Q, this is S Q, D Q and I Q plus half into gamma. Here we will use the B dash, because as it is a one way eccentricity and we will not use B, we will use the effective with B dash. So, B dash into N gamma into S gamma into D gamma into I gamma. So, S gamma S q as the shape factor, D q D gamma is the depth factor, I q and I gamma is the inclination factor. So, first we will calculate the E q value. So, q value is dF into gamma. Here dF is 0.5 meter into gamma is the 19. So, it will coming out to be 9.5 kilonewton meter square. Similarly, corresponding to phi is 32 degrees. So, if I use the Mayerhof table, so we can again show you the Mayerhof tables. So, this is the bearing capacity factor tables of which is presented by the Mayerhof. So, here we will use the Mayerhof expressions or Mayerhof bearing capacity factors. So, corresponding to phi is 32 degree, our N q is 23.2 and N gamma is 22. So, that value we will use. So, our N q is 23.2 and N gamma is 22. Here we calculate again the B dash is B minus 2 E So, that is equal to 2 minus 2 into 0.18. So, this is value is coming 1.64 meter. So, these are Meyer bearing capacity factor. Now, again by using the Meyer and here this L dash will be L equal to 2 meter. So, again by using the Meyer corrections factor. So, S q that is equal to S gamma, that we can get 1 plus 0.1 into B dash divided by L dash into tan square 45 degree plus phi by 2. So, that value we will get the chart from the chart that is present. So, we can show you the chart, that is the Meyer corrections factors. So, different factors is there and this is the expression. So, here for this footing we will use this expression, that is for S q S gamma, that is 1 plus 0.1 here B by L, but here we will use the B dash and L dash, but L dash is equal to L, and this tan square 45 plus phi by 2 for phi greater than 0 degree here, because other factors also used from this table. Here phi is greater than 0 degree. So, once we put this L dash equal to 2 meter, B dash equal to 1.64 meter and phi is 32 degree, we will get this bearing capacity factor value 1.267. Similarly, dq is equal to d gamma, that is equal to 1 plus 0.1 df divided by b into tan 45 degree plus phi by 2. So, here also there is this value from the table also. Here if we put df equal to 0.5, b here in place of b we will use the b dash. So, this b dash equal to 1.64 meter, phi is 32 degree. So, this is coming 1.055. As this inclination is not present, so we can write that I q is equal to I gamma, that is equal to 1. So, once you get these things, then by using this q u expression, so this expression will just put all the value, because in this expression q is 9.5 kilonewton per meter square, n q is 23.2, S q is 1.267, d q is 1.055, then I q is 1 here, then gamma is 19, b dash 1.64, n gamma is 22, S gamma is 1.267, d gamma is 1.055, I gamma is 1. So, once we put all the value in these expressions, so we will get this value, that is coming 5752.767 kilonewton meter square, because this b dash here will be put 1.64 meter. So, finally, the q ultimate, the load, that is coming out to be, that is b dash into L dash into q u. So, this value is coming 1.64 into 2 into 752.767. So, finally, the value that is coming out to be 2469.1 kilonewton. So, the answer, this q ultimate, that is coming out to be 2469.1 kilonewton. So, this is the answer of this question. So, that is we are getting this q ultimate. So, now if we want to find the net safe bearing capacity of the footing or ultimate safe bearing capacity of the footing, then you have to apply the factor of safety, and I have already discussed how to calculate the net bearing capacity. So, here up to the factor of safety here also. So, in this way we can determine the value for the eccentrically loaded footing. So, in the next class I will discuss that if this is for eccentrically loading, and now if it is a layered soil, because now for this up to this I have discussed all the soil condition is homogeneous. Now, if it is a layered soil, then how to calculate the bearing capacity, if it is in the slope, then how to calculate the bearing capacity, those things I will discuss in the next class. Thank you.